Good morning, everybody. Welcome. This is an amazing day, so thank you all very much for coming. My name is Rebecca Baer. I am the president and CEO of the Seattle Parks Foundation, and we are here to open this beautiful new pavilion at Occidental Square Park. We're super excited. Thank you for coming. Before we begin with the mayor's remarks, we have asked Randy Tippins, who's the associate director of the Chief Seattle Club, to come and do a land acknowledgement at the birthplace and center and heart of our city and of the Duwamish people. So thank you, Randy.
Hello, everyone. Uki, Sanitaniko Bitaobspi, Numok Toktu Kiana. My name is Randy Tippins. I'm part of the Kainai Nation, which is the First Nation in southern Alberta, Canada. It's one of the 4 bands of the Blackfoot Confederacy. And a lot of my teachings about land acknowledgement have been to live as those that lived here before, to live like those that lived here before us. And so we honor the Duwamish people in whatever way we can, and having humbleness and something for our community like this to be built is great, and to share with one another. And I'm sure that the Duwamish people will be very proud. And so in the way of my people, we do a lot of our honoring and acknowledgement through songs. So today I'll be sharing a praise song for my people to honor those that lived here before us, the great Duwamish people and Chief Seattle. Oh, hey, good night, so hey, hey, yeah, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, 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 yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, yeah, 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 oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, get not so beta, hey. So, as Bloods, when we sing that song, it's to praise someone for what they sacrificed, or anything good that they did. And the Duwamish people, they lived here, and they've had to make sacrifices for their own people and the Suquamish people, and I just wanted to praise them for letting us be on the land that we reside on right now. So thank you all, and enjoy this event.
Thank you so much, Randy. What a wonderful way to appreciate and acknowledge the layers of history that exist here in this place, Occidental Square. So I'd like to introduce Mayor Durkan, who has been a great advocate for our parks, and especially as we've addressed the challenges of this pandemic, her recognition, especially for this park, that it needed to happen, it needed to continue throughout the challenging times that we've had. And today we celebrate this kind of a new beginning for downtown and Occidental. And I'd like to welcome Mayor Durkan.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that land blessing. I want to thank the Seattle Parks Foundation, the Alliance for Pioneer Square, the Downtown Seattle Association, and of course Seattle Parks and Recreation for our event here today. But mostly I want to thank the people of Seattle and the people of Pioneer Square and the Parks Foundation that had this vision. And little did we know how important it would be for the rebirth of our city. And what the timing of this means, having just come through, I think, the most difficult 14, 15 months our city has ever experienced. And I think it's really appropriate that we are here in Pioneer Square. You know, I worked down here in high school, I've been here throughout my life, but the history of Pioneer Square is so rich. The land blessing reminds us that we stand on the lands of the Duwamish people, but we also remember that Seattle has come back from hard and tragic times before. And you go back to the time of the Great Fire, it was centered right here, and the rebirth of this city was centered right here. And we are here today to allow us to really turn our attention to rebirth, reopening, and recovering as a city. Our downtown parks, our businesses, our shops, every person in this city has been impacted by coronavirus, whether it was the health impacts, the economic impacts, and then months into it, we had a civil rights reckoning that our nation was ready for and needed. And it reminded us how important it is to ground all of our work on equity and do all we can to really, truly dismantle the systemic racism that has kept so many in bad conditions in neighborhoods and communities and locked out of systems and opportunity for generations. And we've seen a lot of strides forward. I think the people of Seattle has responded every time. Remember, we were the first in, and we will be announcing that we will be the first in the nation to hit 70% vaccination of 12 and older. And those happened because the people in the city did what was hard when we asked them. They stayed home. They saw their businesses suffer. They saw their loved ones get sick. People were separated for month after month after month. This is one of the first events I've been to see so many people not wearing masks and be able to be close to each other again and talk to each other again. And so what a beautiful time to welcome people back to Occidental Park for this next generation of what happens here in Pioneer Square. Today, in addition to reopening this new beautiful pavilion, I'm also announcing that the city of Seattle will be distributing helicopters, 2,000 Orca cards distributed at no cost to people who work at the restaurants, grocery stores in Little Saigon, Japantown, Chinatown International District, and Pioneer Square. We know we got to bring workers back. We've got to make it as easy and accessible as possible. So we will be distributing those Orca cards, and they will be good through the end of the year. And again, that's only possible because the people of Seattle voted in Proposition 1 to believe in transportation and transit and how important it was, and to fund things for Orca cards for youth, for seniors, and now for our essential workers that are such a critical part of us coming back and recovering. We are going to make sure that we truly align our recovery dollars with the lessons we learned last year after the murder of George Floyd, to really focus on how do we make sure that this recovery brings us back as a city that is more equitable and that really centers our BIPOC communities. We worked so hard on vaccinations. I have to thank everyone in the city of Seattle who stood up and got vaccinated. We're doing another thing right after this on vaccinations, and the Seattle Fire Department, but also our community-based organizations, particularly in our BIPOC communities, stepped up in a way that was phenomenal. And almost 50% of the vaccinations that the city of Seattle did were to people who identified as Black or brown people. It's a phenomenal rate. There's still disparities there, but we have to keep moving. And as we move into recovery, we need people to come back downtown. We want downtown to recover. We want Pioneer Square to recover. We want the shops and restaurants. You know, we had some who gave us hope through the pandemic, like the Pastry Project, which is back there at the tables. If you have not indulged yourself, do. But we also know all the shops and businesses that had to close, the workers who were thrown out of work, the number of people who are unhoused that continue to in our parks and our streets. We have to address these in our recovery, and we have to do it equitably. But today is a day of celebration. I want to thank, again, the Parks Foundation, the donors who made this possible, Olson Kundig for the beautiful design. But for the people of Pioneer Square and the supporters of Pioneer Square, who have that we can do it attitude every day. We will be inclusive, we will be strong, but we will reactivate our parks and reimagine our downtown and Pioneer Square. And today's just a great day to do that. So again, my thanks to all the people who are making this possible. I want everyone to know Seattle's going to come back. We are on the road to recovery. And vaccinations were the door that we had to open, but now real work begins. It will not be easy work, but we have never shirked from a challenge in this city. We can rebuild more equitably, and today is a day we can start to celebrate. The timing of this could not be better. I want to thank all the people who had the vision for this, all the people who support it. I want to thank the kids who are showing it can be fun here. So thank you very much, and I'll give it back to you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Mayor Durkan.
You're welcome. Oops, sorry about that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mayor Durkan, and that Orca card program is going to be so important to bringing people back down to downtown, so thank you. I next want to introduce the president of the Downtown Seattle Association, John Scholes. Part of recreating Occidental Park and bringing life to this park has been about activating the park. You see all kinds of things happening around us, the art, the play spaces, the bubbles and the hula hoops. That is all from the creative mind of Jen Casillas on the DSA team, as well as the leadership of the Downtown Seattle Association. Engagement and activation in our parks have been so critical to bringing them back to life. So thank you so much for the Downtown Seattle Association's contribution. Also, thank you to those donors who have funded the Urban Parks Partnership, which actually makes that, that work possible. So,
I'm going to steal it back just for a second.
Oh, yes.
Out of program. I just noticed we have with us Councilmember Andrew Lewis here in the back. Andrew, thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Former Councilmember Jan Drago was here a second ago. I saw her. She's worked on these. There she is, Issues Forever. We have former Mayor Charlie Royer here as well, who is not just a resident, but has worked for this. And if I'm missing any of the elected officials or former elected officials who work on this, I apologize. And with that, John, it's all yours.
Thanks, Mayor. And I don't think we can say thank you enough to our public officials who've led us through probably one of the most difficult 15-month periods in our city's history. So thank you for your public service, for what you've done to get our city vaccinated so that we can be here today mostly standing without masks, and so we can focus on reopening and recovery. And thank you as well, Councilmember Lewis. It feels damn good to be out here today with all of you and people that we haven't seen each other for 15 or so months. This feels good. I think as humans, we like this. We like being around each other and seeing each other without masks and without screens in front of us. So this feels good. And this project to me represents the best of Seattle. It acknowledges our unique history. We're reinvesting here in one of our historic neighborhoods. We're tapping the incredible homegrown creators, designers, and craftsmen in Olson Kundig and Schuchart. And we're creating a space for everybody to enjoy. That's a place where everybody can feel like they belong and is open and accessible to everybody. And we partnered along the way. The community, the private sector, the city, we all came together. And I think in that formula, in that recipe that brought this together, we've got a good playbook as we look at the challenges ahead of recovering and reopening and renewing the heart of our city. So this is a day to celebrate a great new structure, a great new investment in our park, and I think too, to carry forward that same formula, that same recipe that brought this to light as we think about the significant challenges ahead of us as we bring back downtown and our neighborhood business districts across the city of Seattle. We're real pleased to continue our partnership with the city as the management entity of this park, and I just want to give a big shout out to our ambassador team supervisors, Jen Casillas, who are doing the work day to day to create a great space. So we look forward to continuing to fill this space with activities and music and art and events that draw everybody in, that ensure that this space is well utilized and full, and to continue that partnership with city government to create a great urban park here in Seattle's first neighborhood. So thanks very much.
Thank you, John. So this project wouldn't have been possible without the partnership, as John described, many partnerships between the Parks Foundation, the city, DSA, and our next speaker, the Alliance for Pioneer Square. This is a very historic part of the city, and creating a building like this in a historic part of town is not an easy job. And it wouldn't have happened without the partnership and support of all the businesses in the downtown Pioneer Square area, and Lisa and her colleagues at the Alliance for Pioneer Square. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Lisa to come up and give some remarks.
Thank you all for being here today. I think this is a little surreal to finally be at this, both finish, just having the pavilion done after all of the work that all of the partners put into it. It's really great. And I just want to take a second to thank both the funders and the partners for all of the work that they put into making Occidental Square an even better and more welcoming place for people. It wasn't always easy, but this team stuck through it and made this beautiful space come to a reality. Now more than ever, it's important to bring people together, especially in Pioneer Square. We're working every day to rebuild the community and the connections that we've lost over the last year, and I look forward to the upcoming months. Don't forget, come down to Pioneer Square, come support our businesses, come spend time here in this beautiful space. I'm proud of what Pioneer Square has accomplished over the last 10 years, and I'm really, really looking forward to the future that includes all of you. So thank you again.
Thank you, Lisa. Again, my name is Rebecca Baer. I'm the president and CEO of the Seattle Parks Foundation. And this beautiful structure and the vision for this beautiful structure would not have happened without some really important people in the city. And first off, I want to give a very big thank you to Charlie Wright for his vision of bringing together. Yes, thank you, Charlie. Charlie saw this space and 7 years ago, brought down Dan Biederman from New York to really think about how do we re-envision civic public spaces in the heart of the city, our historic spaces. Occidental wasn't always like this, and 10 years ago. And through the vision of Charlie and many others that love Pioneer Square, there has been significant investment in making this space really vibrant and showcase the layers of history of our city. Charlie brought together a number of donors from the historic timber families of Seattle, and many of them are here today, and we just want to give great appreciation for the significant contribution they have made to make this beautiful modern structure on top of the layer of all the history of Seattle. So thank you all for your contributions. In addition, I just want to call out something the mayor said about equity in our parks. The Seattle Parks Foundation believes strongly in the importance of community-centered, focused work in parks and civic spaces. Our parks have proven through this pandemic as the salve for all of the challenges we have had to face. It's in our parks where we've been able to regain our health. It's in our parks where we've been able to have civic dialogue and civic unrest in order to tell our stories. It's also in our parks where we're going to recover. And this park is by and far one of the best places for us to really start that spark. It's so exciting that the heart of Seattle is getting rebirthed with both the old and the new. And this opportunity gives us an opportunity to grow and really look at equity throughout the entire city. So from here, you'll see the Seattle Parks Foundation starting to look outward and regain our foot and thinking about how do we really make equitable access for all. One of the things that we've uncovered over the period of the pandemic is there's actually no research showing that parks actually help equity in health outcomes. In those neighborhoods where there's access to civic spaces and parks, people are healthier and there's less inequity in the cases of COVID. So our city needs more parks. Our city needs more access to public space. And the Parks Foundation is here to say we are going to be doing that work over the next 5 to 10 years to ensure that we right some of the wrongs of history and we create beautiful spaces like this all over the city. So, thank you. So, I'd like to invite some of our donors up to do a special welcoming to this space. We have a plaque here honoring our timber families and all of those who've contributed to this location. And also would like to, I gotta make sure I do all my thank yous, so I have to look at the list here, so just a moment. The design team, Olson Kundig, Tom Kundig, Edward Lalonde, and Simon Clues. Thank you. PCS Structural Solutions, MIG Engineers, Geoengineers, they've all been in, part of the design. The construction team was led by Schukert, with, along with Spearhead Timber, specialty fabricators. We have George Schukert and Casey Schukert and Eric Peterson and Nate Cataldo all here. Thank you so much. Thank you to our partners, DSA, including George Bryant, who leads the, is he here? He leads our ambassador program here in this park, so thank you, George. And also Paula Hoff, who's been behind the scenes in the Parks Department, helping make this happen. I see a few other important Parks Department folks, Andy Sheffer over there, who leads our work, Kim. Thank you, Kim and Andy. And Jesus, our superintendent, thank you for helping make this project happen. And so I'd like to invite Jesus up to help us with our official opening of Occidental Square Timber Pavilion. Come on up. And John, Lisa Howard, Mayor Durkan, Charlie, come on over, Thatcher Bailey, from the Friends of the Waterfront. Thatcher really is the one who made a lot of this happen, so. And we've got some really big scissors. Oh, we have small scissors too for people.
This is your guys'.
Oh, I get the, well, you should have some scissors.
Everybody, right?
Oh, goodness.
Come on, guys. Here we go.
Do you guys,
Thank you.